everyone, welcome back to JP WHU TV. It's nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well and have a little bit of a very good day, of course, and have calmed down a little bit since the abysmal performance we saw last night. As we know, last night was the last few hours of the January transfer window. Some dodgy things happened. Fortunately, those moves have gone through. So let's have a recap of the January transfer window. As always, guys, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor, 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where you can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, as you can see from the icon that's up here. I got it right without looking at it, and I had to look at it to make sure I got it right. But anyway, there's also track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts, and t-shirts in there made by Admiral and Umbro, so go check those out. And any purchases you make through the link in the description below. As I always say, the commission will be sent on to this charity here, the Iron Supporting Food Banks. They're based in the Newham area, and they're helping those in the Newham area and the Essex County and further afield for that matter, as they're currently supporting 39 separate food banks. So guys, go grab yourself a really nice retro shirt or a very nice polo, track jacket, t-shirt, whatever you want. You'll be saving yourself a few quid in comparison to the club shop, and you'll be helping those less fortunate than you and I. So of course, guys, put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts on this January transfer window. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are going to be saying. But let's crack on with it. So let's, as always, guys, let's talk about the outs first of all, because let's face it, there was more than incomings, weren't there, eh? As we remember, at the start of this, relatively the start of the January transfer window, Thilo Kehrer moved on loan to Monaco. Looks like we had about €500,000 fee for that. Connor Coventry left to Charlton on a £1 million deal. It's like 1.16 million euros according to Transfer Market. It's a shame because Connor was deemed to be the next Mark Noble when he broke through quite a few years ago. It was under Pellegrini originally, if I remember correctly, I think. But yeah, it just didn't work out for him for whatever reason. He went out on loan at different levels on different clubs and didn't really rip up trees in terms of the way that we needed him to. You know, he's looked good at certain things, but it just hasn't hit that level that we need as a Premier League team, which isn't a bad reflection on Connor Coventry in any shape or form. It's just the fact that the club is trying to improve every single season, and unfortunately we just left him behind in that instance. And talking of that as well, for that matter, my boy Pablo Fornells left to join Real Betis on a 5-year deal worth €8 million. It looks like around about £6.8 million. He had a lovely leaving post on the club website, you know, just saying how much he wants a hammer, always a hammer, how much he loved playing with the club, and once more West Ham are massive everywhere we go. I'm gonna miss the man. I really do. I was one of the first people to say how much of an importance he was going to be under Pellegrini. Everybody seemed to catch up with me from that point of view. At that Chelsea game where we won it 1-0 with Martin in goal, you know, that famous night that saved Pellegrini for an extra couple of weeks anyway. But yeah, it was just, I'm going to miss the man. I miss his passion. Yes, all right, he was, as my mate Steve says, powder puff in scoring a few goals and stuff, especially that weird scorpion kick with one leg that he scored one foot, I should say, that came off his ankle, I think, more than his actual foot, against, I think it was Palace away, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm going to miss him. So, Pabs, I know you ain't watching this, but if you are, thank you very, very much for your service, man. I'm going to miss you. One man I'm not going to miss so much, but we're probably going to see him at the start of next season, is Said Benrahma. He's gone on loan to Lyon with a €6 million loan fee with an option to buy at the end of the season. It's after more money, apparently. Well, not after more money, but he was after more money than Lyon were prepared to pay him. He was asking the club to match his wages. I'm not really sure exactly where that went, but it doesn't matter for the next few months. Whatever the deal is, we're saving ourselves a few quid. You know, we're saving ourselves a few quid on Fornells' salary as well, because if I remember correctly, it's about $3 million a season, I think, or something ridiculous like that. I can't remember exactly what his wages were. I know his basic was 65 grand a week, but that's basic. That's not including goals and appearance bonuses and all the rest of it. But I do. It's So I had Ben Rama's a hard one for me to talk about, just purely because we could see how good he was when he starts off the season brilliant. He really does. He's been at the start of this season and the start of last season. We were looking at him as to be our hammer of the season. Within about 2 or 3 games, and then he just drops off. I don't get it. I really don't understand why that is. Why he gets into the way that he does, but he has, and the red card in the FA Cup. Yeah, that was definitely the nail on his coffin, and I'm sure the club are going to make sure that everything is fine for him to sign for Lyon when this season finishes. We're gonna be taking a bit of a loss in terms of Fornals and Ben Rama's transfer fees, but I say we will make it up to a degree in saved wages. It looks like the money coming in from all these moves is around about 12 to 13 million pounds. I'm not 100% sure on it because, as I say, reports are reports. But yeah, and of course there's a £7 million that we forked out to bring in Calvin Phillips from Man City until the end of the season. No option to buy because neither team could agree it, so therefore there is no option to buy. I'm sure conversations will take place towards the end of the season, depending on how his season goes. End of the season goes with us. I'm sure Phillips redeemed himself. I'm sure everybody's going to say, "No, he's crap. You made that mistake. Just bin him off. He's not a Rice." Blah 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 blah. And that's fine. I get that. But you can't judge, you can't judge a player on, where are we? It's going to be 17 more games. You can't hold one mistake over him. I mean, we're holding enough mistakes over the team as it is. Zuma, for example. Tilo, Aguerd. Some of the mistakes he's made. Bowen's been hot and cold a little bit. He's been brilliant, don't get me wrong, but there's been times where he should have scored. Phillips should have really scored last night in the Bournemouth game, but apart from that excellent save from Neto, but which I'll come on to. And apologies, guys, for those that watched the full-time thoughts video last night. I didn't talk about that. I did mention that there should have been 4 or 5 goals scored in the first half, and I still maintain that. But I'll go into a bit more detail because last night, guys, I was tired, like all of us were last night. We make the effort to get to the stadium on time, or some of us get there early. We work hard to get there, and to see that performance, it's just not acceptable. But again, I'll talk about that more in the Man United preview for Sunday's game. So I say, including the £7 million loan fee, it looks like we've made a profit of 12 to 13 million quid, which will be handy in terms of Phillips's wages and some spillover going into the summer transfer window. And I'm sure that last night, once 11 o'clock rolled around and the club was trying to get conversations with FIFA to get the paperwork finished. I mean, I don't know what the technology was around it that was causing the issue, but it's not a fax machine, maybe. or some dodgy Wi-Fi, who knows? But yeah, I'm sure that target's been identified straight away, and I hope David Sullivan's learnt his lesson. Not to piss about, quite frankly. And he's done it. We've had so good January transfer windows. With Bowen coming in, Souček, for example. We've had some. We've had some great summer transfer windows where we've done deals early. Not as many as we needed to, of course, but I did think that the club was learning all the time, especially with Steiden being involved in his not extensive, but in comparison to how things were, the extensive scouting network that we're now seeming to build up. It's great from that point of view. I genuinely thought the best days are coming. All that crap's behind us, but is it bollocks? It's still right in front of us, staring us in the face. It really is staring us in the face. And I really hope that in 12 months' time, when we're looking on the back of this season's accounts, that this doesn't really come back to bite us and we finish around about the place to where we all hope we are going to finish, which is going to be basically at least halfway up the top 10. It'd be nice to have that. Of course it will. To finish in Europe again and have another European campaign for the 4th season in a row would be unbelievable. But there's only 2 ways we can do it. Either we win Europa League and then we get our asses handed to in the Champions League, or we finish 5th or 6th or 7th. I mean, you know, we're a point above Man United going into this weekend. So that's squeaky bum time with 6th place. You know, obviously with the Champions League places looking like it's going to be from 1st to 5th. You know, hopefully it'll be like 6th to 7th is Europa, and then 8th is Conference League. We'll have to wait and see, of course, and we'll talk about that in 4 months' time, 3.5 months' time. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for listening to me waffle on. As always, I really do appreciate each and every one of you that watches, and even you guys that don't like it, if you do like it, fantastic. But especially I appreciate every single one of you that do comments in there, even if people are just trying to tear me apart for no reason without any evidence to suggest what they're talking about. But it all helps. I like hearing your opinions, because at the end of the day, guys, the purpose of this channel is for you to hear my opinions and for us to converse with each other. You know, that's why we do the live watch-alongs as well. So we talk about the game together as it happens, getting people's opinions on stuff. 90% of the time it works out perfectly. You always get that one idiot who comes on and gives us rhetoric, but most of it's been brilliant with you guys, and I love every single one of you. It'd be nice to see if we can try and get to 2,500 by the end of the season. We're really not that far away from it. Was it 30, 34 still now? You know, loads of you been watching over the last month, and nobody's subscribed. Genuinely, nobody's subscribed. But guys, thank you very, very much for those that have stuck it this far. I really do appreciate it. You are my people. I love you to bits. Enjoy your weekend. As I say, the Man United preview will be up tomorrow, and then on Sunday we'll have the watch along for the game. All things being as they are. But in the meantime, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you very, very soon. All the best now. Take care.